Good afternoon. Well, we're back on the last day of the year, the last day of a horrible year, 2020. We're here for another match in this year's Virtual Pool 4 World Straight Pool Championship. It's a one-loss side match. We'll have a quick look at the bracket. It's a match today between Potman and Silvia, race to 150 and starts in a few minutes time. And the other match that is on the bracket has been set. That is the match on the winner's side, and it is between Larry, if I can find it, and Snake Eyes, and that's in a couple of days time. It
Hi
will be
everyone.
at breakfast time, my time, 8 AM, and I'll be there for that because that is Saturday, and I will be back at work on Sunday morning, so I'll be up early for that match between Larry and Snake Eyes. Good afternoon. And that is it. There's nothing else set. If we look at the bracket as far as the expiry times for each round, the match that Snake Eyes and Larry are playing, the expiry date is the 4th of January, so they have arranged theirs for the 2nd. Albinari is already through. Keith and Cobra are going to have to go at some point as well. That should be another good match. Stubb is already through, and Bankster is already through, and Hazard is already through. Who else is still to play? We've got the match between Semi-Pro and Fan Fan. I believe, as far as I know, Semi-Pro sent times, and there's still nothing been agreed there. Mooncake is lying in wait for the winner of that match. Oh, the other thing to mention is the winner of the match today between Potman and Silvia will go through to play the winner of Mr. Bill and Chiku on the one-loss side, and that about covers it. So Bill's the only one here as far as I know. We may well have another few drop in, and of course if they don't, they can watch it all rerun on my YouTube channel. So well, I think both of these players, the one thing they have to work on, and that's one thing that most of the players in the tournament need to work on, is getting that cue ball in better shape, especially with those last two balls. That's the ultimate goal in each rack, is making sure you've got that good second last ball to make it very easy to get on the break ball. That all being said and done, it's not quite as simple as that, because break balls don't always fall into shape, but the odds are that if you can get that break ball, it's even more vital that you make it easier. That was proved with Stubbs' match. Stubb was on a run of 72, and he had to go 2 rails off the second last ball to come around and into the table for the break ball, which wasn't a good shape. The only problem was Stubb ended up dead straight, and that's because he had to move the cue ball a lot more than you really want to in getting on a break ball. It was a fine example of where things go wrong, and a run that could have maybe went to 3 figures very quickly died because he could do nothing with the cue ball. He couldn't get to the pack, and thereby the run ended. So that's why it's so vital to think about that second last ball, let alone the break ball, and make your life an awful lot easier. And the better players at doing that are the ones that are going to get the better runs. Right, so the room should be up, and well, one player is in. I may well have to change the cloth again, I think. That's if I can get in the room, that is. Oh no, we're okay. So Silvia is in, and we're waiting on Potman. Both players have been in the lobby, and I think they've been in practicing as well. And Silvia getting a practice on the lag. So that's the most important shot for both players, getting that lag and sticking your opponent in straight away. I wonder whoever gets to break whether they're going to try something different on the break shot, but that remains to be seen. Potman is hanging about. I'll check my little doodle while we're waiting. That's all working okay. Potman will be getting the alert to let him know the room's up, unless he stepped away from the PC, that is.
Stevik 1158. Afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Semi-Pro 4. Morning.
Good afternoon, Semi-Pro. Well, we had, I woke up this morning and it was very cold last night. It was -4 the other night, and it must have been about similar last night, but when I woke up this morning I looked out, it was thick cloud, and I thought, well, it doesn't look as if the snow's very far away, but there was absolutely no forecast of snow for us. And then I had to go out today to do my shop for the new year, and when I looked out, yes, you've guessed it, it was coming down, and we had about, well, 3-4 hours of snow, which was completely out of the blue, because they definitely did not mention it. They mentioned obviously snow showers in places, but they didn't mention anything for us. But it landed this morning, and it's stopped now, but it's still cloudy outside, but it's definitely got the winter feel about it. Well, I don't know what the hell's going on with Potman. Somebody wants to give him a nudge, because
Semi-Pro 4. Is Potman online?
yeah, Potman is in the room. We're now lagging. There we go. I don't know who's who again, haven't a clue. Well, that was a weird lag, wasn't it? It never even bloody well finished. Anyway, Silvia apparently won the lag and has put Potman into break. And let's see how loose these two players play, because that would be the main fault I would have with both of them, is that control of the cue ball. So Potman's done pretty much a conventional break, which can never really guarantee you're going to get everything safe. He wasn't willing to experiment, but then again, has anybody been in a room experimenting on their break shot? I don't think many of these players have been. That's one thing I would have been doing. But straight away, Silvia's missed the pot. Again, that shot there would have been much easier just to roll the ball in. There's a couple of balls in the open that she could have landed on. She didn't need to stun into the pack, and should have just taken the pot. So Potman again got lucky there. So it's going to be a combo.
Cobreth 4. Hi everyone.
Good afternoon. Welcome aboard.
Stevik 1158. Hi.
So he can just drop through for that 15 ball, I think, at the back of the bunch there if he wants. If he leaves a little angle on it, he can nudge into a few, and that is perfect. As long as he doesn't try and do anything elaborate, he can just stun into them, just go through the gap if he can, He's bound to nudge on to something. Just free a couple of balls up. Now just a gentle roll through in the 14 would work for that 4 ball, and we'll have an early look at where the break ball could be. That could be the 8 ball. It looks ideal from here, and let's see what Potman is thinking, because of course the 8 ball's the one you want to avoid at all costs, but to do that he has to pick off the 9.
Potman by 20 points.
Got to pick off that 9 ball if he can get up there. He's gone short, but that would open up the 6 and the 11 to this corner pocket. Well, I think it's a coin toss as to who will win this, in all honesty. Now that's the troublesome ball, that 9 ball, and he's already contemplated the 8 ball there, I think, and it looks like it's going to be the 12 ball.
High.
But once again, I think he was, I don't know whether he was trying to play for the 9 ball, but he should have been, just to get that out of the way, and already he's running out of options here. Now he's got another angle off this 2 ball just to drop the 2 in and get on the 9. I don't know what pattern he's thinking of here, but why is he looking at the 12? You pot the 2. Oh dear, that's poor. That was going wrong 4 shots ago, and that is just really not thinking at all. The obvious ball was a 2 ball cut into the left middle. You drop onto the 9, you take the 9 out, and that's opened up the 2 balls, and that's only a visit of 9, and that's a pattern that Potman wants to get rid of, and he's failed in the first visit, I'm afraid. He wants a good shaking down and a good telling off for that, because it was a poor choice of shot. Anybody who was thinking about what they're doing, looking at the lay of the ball, seeing where that problem ball was, why he couldn't see the 9 was a problem ball is beyond me. And he had a simple shot to drop onto the 9 there. And if you can't do that, you just ain't going to be putting anything substantial together. It might sound critical, but it's critical if you want to be competitive in this tournament. You've got to be able to stack something together. As it is now, these points are all Silvia's. They should all be Potman's. Now if she can cut the 9, get up the table, up the middle of the table.
4. Semi. Been practicing that break and about 50% success.
Now this shot here, she wants to have medium pace so she doesn't overhit it, and also so she doesn't just lock onto the side of the pack. Well, she's missed it the first time. She might have a bailout shot, and then again she's locked on the other side and got nothing. I don't even think she can get to the cut angle on that 8 ball. No, it doesn't look like it. Or maybe she can, or maybe she's convinced she can. Looks very tight to me. Yes, she may be able to hit the 8, but she's probably just cutting it to the side rail. Well, there is a gap there. She's got a bit of she's got a wee feather of English on that. It's going to cut to the rail. Where's the cue ball? The usual place. That was in the back of my mind when she was going to take that there. So straight away we've got 2 failures on the first 2 visits. And Potman has ball in hand, but he's going to have to make a better effort than he did in his first visit. Got to study the table, see where that problem is. And again, I'll repeat myself time and time again, but it's the discipline of the game that you have to adhere to at all times. You have to deal with those blocking balls. They're going to prevent you from constructing anything. If you don't deal with them, and it's too late in the rack, you've run out of choices, or you've run out of balls to get there, and you have to be on your toes at all times.
Jarzad 50. Aye.
Good afternoon. So we've got a really awkward 8 ball. Let's see how awkward it might be. Yeah, that's asking a lot to drop good onto that to try and feather it into the middle. It's far too tight, so that's going to have to go up table. And straight away he can deal with that. He can probably push through in the 5 off the 15 and then get on the 8. He's going to be on the what's that, the 9 or the 1 on the right side, or the 4. He can probably come across from this 1 ball as well. Again, he's getting into the balls. How long's he going to wait? He's created a problem because now the 9 and the 13 are locked up, and so now he's got 2 problems to deal with. If the 10 disappears, every ball there behind that cue ball goes, so they don't need to be touched, but the ones that he does need to deal with, he's now going to struggle to get to them. Has to get pretty straight in this 14. Once again, drop the 14 in, get the 8 out of the way, and then it's one less thing to worry about. When you pot the 8, you've got the 10. You've got to then find a way to get in the left side to be able to nudge these 2 balls in the bottom rail. He's going to try it now off the 10. And now is not the time to be taking the 8. He wants to get straightish on it, or a slight angle, because we've seen him been pushed into the jaw to catch the knuckle. Oh dear, you cannot miss. When you're so close to a pocket, you cannot miss them on these pockets like that. Again, another very poor visit. 2 failures already from Potman. I'll tell you, he needs a good dressing down. There's no excuse for that. He's a far bloody better player than that. Unless he's been on the homemade ginger wine. That's really bad. So now we don't have the obvious break ball, and Silvia's got the same problem now in having to deal with this 8 ball. But if she takes the 14 and runs right onto the rail, she can be forced into taking the 8 down the table. It has to be pretty straight though. The 14's going to be the best chance of a break shot, but that cue ball has to go, and that is pretty good. This has to be just help down the rail and that cue ball spin out, but not straight like that. I think there's a slight angle. Let's have a look. There's not an awful lot to work with here, so you need to get the amp on. I think you need a bit more encouragement than that with the cue ball to get any joy. That was a bit weak. That should have been a stun with the amp. It may well have achieved a wee bit more success than what she got, but the safety shot wasn't that good either, because the 10 ball's exposed. And if Potman
4. I never use the amp.
can get down, well, that depends on, see, that the one thing about the amp is it depends on how on what sensitivity you've got your mouse at. I've experimented with mice. I think everybody should know that. I've got loads of different mice and I've experimented with them all, where I do not adjust any settings in Virtual Pool 4. When I've got the settings set in Virtual Pool 4, I don't change anything. All I've done is change my mice, and there you go, ball running loose, scratch again. But some mice are different. Every time you change a mouse over, the power of shot and everything's entirely different in Virtual Pool 4, even though you don't change the settings. If you change the mouse round, I like to compare it like a golfer changing a golf club. In Virtual Pool 4, if you change mice like I do for different games, then you've got a different weight of shot. And I've got an old Microsoft mouse where if I'm braking, I use the amp, because you have to be, because then it prevents me, it means I don't have to jack the mouse all the way back in the mouse mat to fire it forward to get that power. So I would use the amp on that mouse. But the alternative one, for example, my Logitech G5 mouse, the big one, the old G5, it's got the 3 different DPI settings. So all I do is go up the DPI to the top one and then brake, and then I set it down to the medium one, and that works fine. So the amp can be used or not used, but for me it depends on the mouse I'm using, which is weird. I know it's weird. I'm a bit sad as far as that goes. But anyway, I think there's more excitement in talking about my mice habits than there is in what we've seen so far in this match. This is going to have to pick up a bit. We've got Potman in the lead, 16 points to 12.
I just lose my Q action and don't seem to get much more power.
Who's these other people that are in the room, clogging the room up? Sakio, me, Inspector Don.
Master Power. All you noobs can type all the BS you want.
Right, there's nothing set there. That 12 and
Master
15
Power.
ball.
You will be destroyed, K.
That 12 and 15
Taoist
ball
Nomad.
looks pretty good. The
Afternoon.
13, the
Taoist
13
Nomad.
onto that 12,
Stop same all BS.
onto the 15
Cobra 4.
is a possible
And
combo.
you typing BS.
Now, Potman's run into them. He's going to have to dig out the 3, I think. Or the
Taoist
13.
Nomad. I always use amp on break, K.
Good afternoon, everybody. Well, Stubbs got his word in, that's him finished. We won't hear him again, which is good.
Taoist Nomad. Should be close, but Potman will win this. Taoist Nomad.
Well, if
As
you'd
he
arrived...
got more patience than Silvia.
Oh no, if you'd arrived at the start of the match, you wouldn't be saying that. Potman's had about 3 visits, they've all been crap. And poor choice of shot. It has to be said. the question is whether, you know, Silvia wants to be aggressive or wants to stifle Potman. She's well capable of doing that. But if she keeps playing loose and make mistakes, then it's going to be the same pattern where Potman's going to come in and just
If
score
Potman pisses around, he
more
won't
points
win K.
and build up the lead. Now we've got a ball to play with here. The 11 ball is good as a break shot. The 9 ball isn't. It's going to go, I think. So immediately you've made that decision, you avoid the 11 ball, and you then look at what ball's going to make a lot easier to get on that 11. The 13
Sorara.
would be ideal.
I'm
not going to have that all fucking afternoon. That's annoying me. Excuse me.
Sorara. Master power. 11 bull break bull K. Sandbox Games Inc. aka Aishaboy 2008. WTF is going on LOL. Sorara. P po p.
Right, that's better. Right, I've just killed the voice. That will save any problems. Sorry about the delay, guys. Anyway, where have we got to? Well, we've got to a break shot. And that's the first good shot Potman's played. And getting to where he is. Now this is an online tournament match. It's 2 players. Now there's a problem here immediately. He's got the 8 ball down the rail, but he's not going to have much else. So he's going to have to be doing a bit of thinking here before he makes a move. If he pots the 8, he's going to have to stun this in and get across the table. And I don't think there's anything on. Yeah, he's going to have to do something and ride his luck here. Now, can he see the 12? Well, he can, but he can't pot it. So, more than likely end of break here, or end of run. You know what I did the other day when we had problems with this arsehole? I made a mistake. I made a mistake of actually removing them from the chat or making them invisible. Now I can't make them visible to get rid of them. But the one way of stopping the annoyance is just to quit the voice, the text to voice thing. That way they can type as much shit as they want. It's just not going to be annoying with the voice thing. But the one thing I will do is I'll go into my YouTube, because I know how to ban somebody on YouTube. I can do that, and if I remember, I'll do that after the match, and they won't be back in that profile. I mean, it's got to be somebody that's in Virtual Pool 4. Because you know, it's usually just Virtual Pool 4 players that join my stream, so it can only be an arsehole in Virtual Pool 4 that's coming here. Well, Potman has left a start for Silvia. But now that they can't get the effect of the chat, the text to voice thing, they'll piss off and go somewhere else. They won't have the desired effect that they enjoy. So Silvia's got a deficit to make up in this visit. That is the objective. Well, there's an easy combo to be taken care of, and then probably if Silvia goes square on this one ball like that, she can certainly just stun into them. A firm stun is needed, and that just frees everything up. No, it's I thought this person said they were from India. Mind you, you can say wherever you're from. So if we look at the way the table is, the 7 balls, I'll say that again, the 7 ball is a blocking ball, and that would be one to take care of, but that little nudge in the 4's improved the situation there. So we've now got 15 ball is ideal. No, it's not, it's right in the corner, but it's ideal to hit those 2 corner balls. But the thing with the 15 ball is it's fairly tight to that corner of the pack, which means it's more difficult to get good in the 15. So this is something here that if Silvia's made up her mind that that's the ball, then it's got to be a good ball to get there. The 2 ball could act as a break shot as well. I mean, I'd be taking the 14, just dropping it in dead weight, and no more. Well, not as dead as that, I'm afraid. That's taking dead weight to the extreme, and she's had a brain fart there. Who the hell's Jimmy Choo then? I would take that with a pinch of salt in that sentence. Right, so it looks as if Potman's committed to the 15 ball. Once again, the 14 ball's not a great ball, especially when you need good cue ball control to get to the 15 good. This is the main concern here from this shot. If anything, you overhit this if you're going to draw up the table, and make sure you get there and have that angle. And that pace there is good. That is pretty good. But I think if you look now where the pack is, the 15 was close to the corner, it's not anymore. Well, look at the way the corner of that pack. I mean, when you look at that, that's the first time I've noticed that the actual 7 ball in the corner of the pack is well away from that black line. I always imagined the balls were pretty much on the corner, and they're not now. When you see that, you see how much difference there is to actually get to the pack. So it's not a great break ball now that I look at it. Well, Potman's got a lead. The one thing I'd be doing would be backing up here behind the pack and just send that 15 up the table. I wouldn't be taking any risks. Yeah. Is he going to get any luck here? I don't think the pace is there to do anything. So a little gentle skim off one of these balls and right down onto that bottom cushion. Well, Jimmy Choo, if you are her father, what the hell's a 9-year-old kid doing on the internet on a channel that's not for kids? Ask yourself that question. So I blame the parent in that respect. If you're actually who you are. This is not a child's channel. Nothing that I stream is for children. You have to confirm that with YouTube. Well, here's a perfect angle to get into them for Potman. Oh, he's got it far too thin. I thought he could have got that and get into them there. Maybe my eyes are playing up, but maybe it was a lot thinner than I thought. So, nothing but the safety really. Well, you do know that there are parental controls via your internet provider. You need to look into that in a bit more detail, because you can prevent them. You can prevent your kids from going on to this sort of stuff. So now Silvia has a chance. She's just brushed him, but that's all you need. But where's the cue ball ending up? Well, she got the 9 as the backup. And that, let's have a look at the 13. Well, again, if you could land here somewhere, in fact, it looks too tight. So I think we'll discount that one. I've got a feeling this could be a long match. Yeah, you can be any age you are. The trouble with internet is you can be anybody you want to be in the internet. As long as you get something to hide behind. It just shows you many sad people there are in this world, with nothing better to do than come onto somebody's channel and start pissing about, whether they're 9-year-old or not. Anyway, yeah, I think we're going to get small doses all the way through this match. And that's gone too far again. And that is a poor shot. You've got to get the cover. And Potman can squeeze that 5 in, no problem. Oh, he's putting top in this. That's dangerous. You don't want to be doing that. You do not want to be doing that. You want to just be stunning this, and you need to be down at the equator. You don't want to be going top on it, because you know where you can end up here. Well, he's hit it gentle. I'll give him that one. I thought he was going to give it a bit of weight there. Now, is there an angle? Well, he can go forward and around the angles and try and clip the pack. That's his only option. He's got nothing else on. See, I think he needed to go forward with pace, with a bit more inside to sharpen the angle around those two rails there for the possibility of a hit. Maybe it wasn't on at all, but anyway, the run ends in 2. The lead is 16 points. Now, what have we got? Well, that 8 ball is going in every day of the week, so there's not an awful lot of thought needed in this shot. It's just hitting that 6 plumb on the 1. The 8 has to go in. There's your one and only top down view for the match. And watch the cue ball though. Always got to be aware of what you're doing there. So in goes the 8, and everything's perfect now. Probably, but not a break ball, not really. So we're going to have to work around this 12 ball possibly. Oh, listen, I lost count. Goodness me! I mean, to think the semi-pros match was over in 3 visits, and you know, these guys are mucking about here for 2.5 hours to erase a 150. I mean, what it all boils down to is one thing, where everything's going in fits and starts between these two players, and that one thing is pattern, is the pattern play, is the choice of shot, is seeing where the problems are. That's what it's down to, because there's no argument that the both of them can pot a ball. So if they've been both pot a ball but they can't string them together, then it's how they're picking them off and getting themselves into trouble. Now that shot there is very good as far as the safety goes, but if Potman wants to play something safe, I would imagine just running straight to the side rail and back to the 2 would do for me. Well, the only ones in 2021 are down in Australia, and possibly not far off it, Malaysia, Japan. They're probably getting near midnight. Well, again, he's not looking at the roll to the side rail and back to the 2. You're going to lose a point, but no damage is going to be done. What's he called here? He's called the 15. Why is he trying to create something out of nothing here? Why not just play a safety? You've got a lead, albeit a slender one. Well, what a shot though. Oh, he's pushing the boat out. He's got the reward though, but not the shot I would have played. Stubb would have played that. That was worse than a bedhead cut, that one. But no, I would not have been interested in that ball. I would have just rolled to the side rail, back to the 2, with a very likelihood of no damage being done, and just sacrificing a point. Now, where are the problems? Well, the problem is that 6 ball right in the middle of the pack there needs to go into this bottom right hand corner or into that left middle. That's the problem, because that's causing a problem for another 2 balls, which would open up into this corner as we look. And then of course the other problem is the 1 ball in the 5. So there's 2 problems Potman immediately should be on the tail of. He should be looking to get there somehow or other, and he's got the option right now off the 3. He can stun up the table. If he's unlucky, he'll run into the 13. If he's lucky, he'll somehow get higher and be able to go on the 6. I don't know whether he can go to the rail, but again, that was an opportunity missed there to get onto the 6. He's now maybe going to try and force something off this bottom rail with a 9 ball, but he can roll the 14. Why is he not rolling the 14 and getting on the 6? Oh dear, this worries me when he's not playing the obvious shot. The obvious shot is kill the cue ball, leave the cut in that 6, because the 6 goes. There's not a problem with the 6 not going, but at least you're going to open up those balls. Well, he's looking to do it off the 13 now then, and the thing is, he's going to be moving balls that he doesn't need to move here, and he could end up locking more up. Didn't need to do that. All those balls were open and available as long as he took the one that was the problem. And it just befuddles me how some players see something entirely different to what the obvious shot should be. Strange. Now there's the other problem. Although he can get to the 8, and well, it's going to have to probably be possibly, there's 3 choices of break ball here yet. There's a 1 ball over the middle, which if you get up table and across to the right, you can come off that and get into the pack. There's the 11 ball on the right side, which is quite high up, so you need to go over the left side to get into the side of the pack. And he hasn't taken the 8 ball, which again, you want to get rid of that. You want to get rid of one of them at some point. So here's 2 possible break balls going to disappear. The 9's already gone. He should have got rid of the 8 earlier. He's going to have to take the 1 now, so that's another possible break ball gone, unless he can create something out of this 8 and 5, or leave the 11. Now, can he brush that 8 ball off this 5? But if he does, he's not going to be on the 11. So again, there could be trouble ahead. No, he's straight through. Right. Well, the 8 ball is not ideal where it's at, above the head of the pack. And if he goes right up the table to the top corner, if you look at it from this angle, assuming he's there, he's going to be, he has to get right down here. If he finishes here, he's the wrong side. If he finishes here, he's going to be fairly straight. If he takes the 8 though, and comes off the rail and out into the table, that's his best chance of a break shot. But look at the angle he's got there, he can't do that. He's heading the other way. And again, thinking about position for the 11. He's forgotten about the 8. A straight in 8 ball, and the run is 13. And well, Silvia wants to start getting her act together here, because you know, Potman's absolutely no threat to her at the moment, and that's going to be a miscall. And Silvia really should be getting in line here and getting some points on the board. So it's going to have to be a roll in the 13. Let's see how much angle there is. No, there's far too much angle. Is it going to get there? Well, it's got there. Well, this is again going to have to get a fair bit of power in it. And he's caught the last 2 balls there, which is not bad. So Potman now with another chance to build on his lead. But it's only going to take one half decent visit from Silvia, and she's well back in the match. But is she going to be able to do that? That's my concern. Because to be honest with you, the two of these players have been faffing about for the first, what, 50 minutes almost in this match. And now the tables are an awful lot more inviting looking for Potman, because he can be at 70 here, and all of a sudden the lead has grown to a much bigger margin than Silvia would like, which means it's even more important that she starts making a contribution here. You don't want to leave it late. You want to get yourself in it. Well, what's wrong with the stun shot here off the 10? A little stun to the right. Got to be on something off this ball. Well, it needed to be a wee bit more for my liking. My idea was to stun across to the 11, because the 7 ball is a blocking ball. Seven balls blocking the path of the 1. The 1 you can't get to from this side, so it's an issue that's sitting there. And again, the stun onto the 7 will take care of that. Just a gentle stun, because if the worst comes to the worst, he should be on the 11 or something like that into the middle. He's missed a stun, but he's moved the 1 out of the way. Now everything is available, but where's the break ball? It's not all that inviting what's left here. Now once again though, how switched on is Potman? Because in this situation where the table is not particularly a good layout, how much is he thinking to maybe pot the the second last ball and just leave the cue ball in the triangle, and then get himself ball in hand in the kitchen and use one of these balls as the break shot that way, which is far easier than actually worrying too much about trying to get there for a break shot that's going to be difficult because the way the balls are sitting. I think if he was on the ball, and again, as I say, applying all the disciplines that you need, then the bailout is leaving that cue ball in the triangle. Because if you get ball in hand, you can go right across, left to right, along that line in the kitchen, and make your angle off whatever ball it's going to be, the 9 or the 1. But he's not going to be able to do that now because the 14's up the table. Oh, wrong button. Wrong button. So the 1 is gone, and the 4's hiding behind the 9. Now, to me, you just go forward and over to the right hand side. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, maybe not even that. Even if he'd got to the right hand side, he couldn't see the 4. So Potman's run ends on 12, but the lead is substantial enough that Silvia has to step up to the plate. Well, I think she should kick the 4. The 9 looks reasonable. It's got a fairly good chance of going in because they look lined up pretty well, and I presume she's looking at it. I think it'd be well worth having a go. Now there's a chance. Well, she's the one that's trailing. She could have actually maybe hit that 4 ball full in the face, made the combo, and might have been lucky to land a break shot off the 4. But she's decided to play safe, and Potman's given it a good look, and he's looking at it, and Silvia's going to kick herself. Well, he got that all wrong because he never hit it full in the face, and he scratched. It didn't look a difficult shot to kick that 4 ball pretty straight on. So no option here but the safety. I mean, as a neutral, I want to see Silvia get back into this. There's no reason at all whatsoever that she can't, and actually make it a match. I mean, if you think about it, the way the visits are going, nobody's really scoring. You know, 10s and 12s and that's it. So if Silvia can have 2 visits where she's doing that, then she's back in the game. It's not a lot to ask. But a good length of the cue ball is a good start. Always a good shot in my book in this game. Get that distance. Because here's a dangerous shot straight away here. If he nudges that one onto the 14 with too much weight, he's got it right. Silvia will be using the 4. Again, just a gentle feather, but have enough pace to get that cue ball back up into the kitchen. Now what she spotted here, well, again, it's ambitious. If I'm trailing by 29 to 63, I'm not going for this. I'm playing safe. I would be running off that 4 and heading down into the long grass, because the end result is this. It's a missed call, and Potman's got 3 points, and that was just a crazy shot to be taken on at this stage. Got to keep it tight. In absolutely no position to be pushing the boat out and taking risks. You've got to protect and limit the damage here, but you're playing straight into Potman's hands doing this, I'm afraid. Well, Silvia's not going to get a chance at all to get 50 playing shots like that. If you get it, you're a hero, but if you look at the context of the match, the far easier shot was a good safety and bide your time. And Potman doesn't need to take any risks if Silvia's the one that's prepared to do it, because he'll just pick off these points. A free visit again. Well, one ball to get on to that 3 ball in the gap between the 2 cluster of balls. One way or the other, whatever angle it might be, you're going to disturb things. And he can do that off the 2. That's the pattern here. You pot the 4. It's so obvious, it's staring you right in the face. You pot the 4 and you land on the 2. You drop the 2 in and you end up there. And then that shot, whether you be up there or there, you're going to disturb those or you're going to disturb them. That's the shot. He's ended up dead straight in the 2 though, I think. Let's have a look. No, he's got an angle. I mean, a gentle pot, and just the pace is right. I mean, he's trying it off the 8. That's freed the top cluster, and now he's still got a problem. If he'd got there off that 2, he could have done it with that shot. As I say, high or low, because that gives you 2 options. If you go high in the 3, you could have broke the 7, the 1 and the 10. If you go lower on the 3, you could have broke those other balls that he's broke. Yeah, it's a bit of a hard watch, isn't it? But you know, I'm trying to use telepathy here to get the message across to Potman. I'm trying to use my telepathic powers, but they ain't working. So now the problem still lies, and 5 ball in the 14. Once again, this 14 ball, if you can get high up on the right hand side, the worst thing that's ever going to happen here is you're landing on the 15. But if you can get good, you can take that 3. Well, he's gone high, so it's going to be the 15. He's pretty straight, and he's running out of shots again. And his last chance is potting the 2 in there and coming up to here or here. That's where he wants to be, and then he can pot the 3 and he can deal with them. He's trying to deal with a shot that wasn't ideal. Yeah, I mean, why is he not seeing the obvious shot where you use the angles that you've got and the balls that are available? And now look where he's ended up. Okay, he can pot the 7, and okay, he's going to run into the 3, but it's a roundabout way for a shortcut, and there's still 2 problem balls there, and now he's cut the 3. This is how to get yourself completely in a muddle and out of shape on every shot. It's just not good pattern play, I'm afraid. Needs a little nudge. Well, nothing on. Might as well call the bank in this bottom left hand corner and cut across the 1. This corner that's just in the bottom left hand corner of the screen. Unless he's trying to get distance, but he's just going to open up the 1. Now, once again, if Silvia can get this cut, she's going for the 10 instead. I thought she was going to go for the cut. In goes the 10, and there's a break shot. Well, that's worked out quite nice. Maybe needs a wee bit of inside left, just a feather. Catches the top of the pack. They've opened up pretty well. She's on the 5 now. This visit here, I'm going to say it right now before she starts, she's in 31, and she wants to be, by the end of this visit, just short of 50. If she can do that, she's back in the match. If she fails in 8 or 9, then it's a no-go, I'm afraid. Well, again, the 6 ball is a blocking ball, and it's blocking the path for the 8 and the 14. She can nudge into the 8 and 14. Well, she's missed the 6. Unbelievable. And the visit ends in 3. And I think you've just got to apply yourself, take a wee bit more time. And it's taking the same pattern again. Potman at the table, and all these 3 points available for him, just to stretch his lead. I mean, you guys can tell me, am I just being overcritical? I mean, tell me what you think. Because I'm beginning to sound the most pessimistic person in Virtual Pool 4. I mean, I'm trying my best to help these guys telepathically, without actually typing stuff in the chat. Well, this table could not be any better for Potman. He's got a break ball, the 12 ball is sitting prime, he's got an emergency bailout ball over the corner pocket, which is why he should be leaving that there and dealing with everything else up the top of the table. You know, he's leaving these balls up there. He should have left his bailout ball, because he's more than likely going to get out of shape, and he would always have that as a backup for him, and he's taking that out. So he's in my opinion, he's doing it all wrong. Need to keep that bailout ball sitting over the pocket just in case, and then deal with the other balls that are up there. The 12 ball is now going to go. You're kidding me on. Oh goodness me. I mean, the 3 balls at the corner of the pack. But, I mean, why has he got rid of the 12 ball? That 12 ball was prime where it was sitting. The 3's right at the corner, and we know that the back of the pack is not quite as close to that 3 ball as we all think. We saw that in that other rack. And he's committed the cardinal sin there straight away. I just cannot fathom what way he's thinking. Now we've got 2 balls up the table. The 11 ball should be the ball to get to the break shot then. Because it's over the same side as the 3 ball, so that would make your life easier to get good in the 3. So let's see how long he leaves that 11 ball there. He shouldn't be touching it. He should be cutting the 4, gentle enough that he can come out and either be on the 9 or take that 7. And you are kidding me on. He's taking the 3 as well now. So now we're down to the 4 ball and the 9. And they're well away from the pack. And his 9's going to go. So we're committed to the 4. The ideal break ball has gone. Yeah, and that was in a tournament, by the way. That 33. I think is it the only tournament I've played, or whatever. I can't remember. I remember that was in tight pocket, narrow pockets, by the way. That 33. So I'm well proud of that. Oh, that 11 ball wiped its feet twice and dropped. And now how good is that for getting on the break ball? I can guarantee you my highest run would be a lot more than 33 if I was playing on this table. I've got no doubt about that. And the 4 ball did likewise. And he's going to scratch. Oh dear. Well, here's a belated Christmas present for Silvia. Now, does she roll through into the triangle? And of course she has done, but the 4 ball's now dead. And that's another poor safety. Brings the 14 into play. That 9 might go as well, does it? No, but the 14 is certainly cuttable. You cut the 14, you're going to run into them. But it's all bad news for Silvia. I mean, for the last, how many racks, it's taken exactly the same pattern. Silvia can't score. Potman can pot balls, but he can't get great shape. But all the time he's building up a lead. It's just going to be like that to the end, unless some sort of major visit happens, basically by either of them. But for the sake of the match, it's Silvia that has to divvy up. But let's just say it's not promising that that's going to happen. I think that both players need to look at in a lot more detail at these balls in order to get their pattern strategy better. But it's only a race to 150. Potman 91 points to 33. Would you believe it? and I'm going to blame that one on Hazard because he's the last one to mention in offs, and that has caused Potman to scratch. I'm taking no responsibility for that. And ball in hand for Silvia. 3 ball is the ball that's going to get her opening up these balls in the cluster. I think she's gone to sleep. I mean, my little logo's covering up the first part of that sentence. Well, here's yet another chance. Oh, good God. Unbelievable. I mean, ball in hand, you don't miss a straight in shot, a slight offline straight in shot with ball in hand to get into the bunch. Unforgivable. Well, I'll tell you, you guys want to make sure you tell these two people that are playing in this match not to watch this video. Because this is tortuous to watch. And Silvia has just shot herself right in the foot. I mean, that is absolutely, totally unforgivable. Ball in hand. Get yourself nicely aligned on the 3 with the angle to pot. And then not aim properly. Not set yourself to play the shot. Oh dear, I mean, this is it's just not the level I thought that Silvia could play at. I didn't think she could sink to this level. And she was saying how good it was. I remember her saying early on in the tournament, you know, in practice she got her highest run and, you know, everything was looking rosy, making hay while the sun shines. But when it comes to doing the business, when it matters in the tournament, she has well failed, big time. And so have all these other optimists talking about all these high runs coming, all these triple figure high runs. I'm still sticking by my guns that we've seen it all. We've seen all the evidence that it is a lot harder than you think. Stubb is the perfect example of that. He's just overconfident that he can pot balls, but he hasn't worked out the other factor, and the other factor is getting good shape. Pulling off spectacular pots to keep a run going is fine, but if you ain't doing it by the book in this game, then you're not going to get the end result. Especially, and I say especially, when you're playing against somebody who's going to stump up and punish you for your mistakes and misses. Stubb hasn't had that yet, but he's going to find that out soon enough. And that goes for anybody else, especially as the one loss side is going to get filled up with 1 or 2 sharks. So it's going to be easy pickings on the one loss side if you fancy your chances for this title, because there ain't a lot coming back at you from a lot of the players in that one loss side. And again, it's not a pretty table. 13 balls were knocked into the triangle, and well, it's going to go to the head of the pack, isn't it, if she pots the 9? Or does it? In fact, that's one thing I've never noticed. Does it? I mean, again, I don't watch straight pool enough, but I presume the 11 ball's going to end up in the head of the pack here. Let's have a look. No, it doesn't. It goes in. Oh no, what am I talking about? It goes in the bloody spot. I'm totally bamboozling myself. That's a better shot. It's got to the rail, but the visit is only 3. The one thing, that I've kept telling you for years, Stubb, you've still got the same problem. You know what it is. You just don't get as good shape as 4 or 5 other guys in these tournaments, which is why you've gone all those years without winning anything, and why you'll continue to go all those years without winning anything unless you get yourself sorted. You know I speak the truth. You can't play loose in this game. More especially in this game than, for example, 9-ball, where you can get away with your loose play a lot of the time. Oh aye, this is going the long haul, this one. Yeah. In fact, you've probably got more excitement watching my my Death Road. Another absolutely abysmal effort there by Silvia. Well, maybe Silvia's been at the Liebfrau Milch. Is that you think is that a line? Are you quoting Silvia there, Larry? I think you are, because she's certainly applying that theory that you've just typed. Good God! Oh no, I could just believe she said that. I ain't got time for that shape crap. That'll be that would be a headline on a sports page. Silvia goes out the Virtual World Straight Pool Championship. When asked how she felt after the match, her line was, "Ain't got time for all that shape crap," as she packed her cue away. Well, everything's failed her. She's been missing sitters, missing a shot with ball in hand. It's been unbelievably bad. That's how bad it's been. Oh, Stubb, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, that's not a high priority in Stubb's game. And, well, Silvia's taken it to the extreme, let's just say that. Can she dig herself out of a hole? Is it going to be like night and day? Is there going to be a major dramatic turnaround in this match? You know, if I was not commentating and I was in Silvia's corner, I'd be sending her a PM and telling her to get her finger out her arse and get her head sorted into this game, because she needs a good telling off, I'll tell you that. I did not believe she could play this bad. And Potman's under absolutely no pressure whatsoever. All he has to do is just bide his time, because the chances are going to keep coming. And you know, he's not going to be scoring great. We've seen more than enough evidence of that. But what he does do is he just builds up on what he's got, which is why he's ended up 95. And it's not going to be long before the mistake comes here, the way these balls are sitting. Because if Silvia kills the cue ball there, that 12 ball goes into the top corner pocket. Well, she's managed to get... Is it the 12? Yes, it is. It still goes, but it's a tight angle to read the cut on it, being so close. Well, That actually is a pretty good safety shot, but she's made the pot and she's got nothing, and now she's got herself in trouble. How does she keep this safe? Can she see that 14 clean just to punch it up the table? She's too close to the 12. Now if you go that way though, if you look at it from that way, you can punch that 14 up the table. If you can see more than enough of the 14 to punch it up the table. She's managed to squirrel, I'll use that as a terminology, she squirreled the 14 into the middle to bail herself out there, but she's back to square one. What goes here? Nothing. That'll do, I think. No, that one goes. The one goes. I think he can just maybe bend that gentle to pot that one if he pushes the boat out. Yep, there you go. Commentator's eye. And now he's got obviously the 13. He's got the 6 to follow. Could even come back for the 3 or the 2. But if he runs through, he might have been able to break those that 10 and 9 on the left hand side there. I don't know whether he's seen that or whether he... I think he had enough angle to do that. He could have punched that in and just nudged over to them. He'd have been on the 3, the 2 or the 6. See, this is why you have to be aware of the situation. So he's got the nudge now, and that's taking care of that problem. Always got to be on your toes. And Potman is going to get to the 100. So we don't have an obvious break ball, but we do have 2 choices, the 9 or the 8. The 9 would be the better one, simply because it's off the rail a wee bit more. He could take the risk and try and nudge into the 8 here if he wants off this 2. In fact, looking at it from that angle, I don't think he can make it. It might be a tall order, but you can certainly drop behind it and deal with it. So, kill the cue ball or come back 2 inches, a little soft draw, one of those stunny draw shots that I call them, and just get the cue ball back so it's half a tip below the equator and a little firm punch, and you'll come back. See, now he's running away up the table. Now if he takes it in the middle, He's going to go probably up to that middle diamond or thereabouts, unless he does something with a cue ball. Oh dear. Well, again, he's failed miserably there. Again, it's a poor miss. The simple fact he's missed that 4-ball, it was not difficult. And he's given Silvia yet another chance. This needs a wee bit of inside. You don't want it to go straight. And that, all the time that cue ball runs, it's killing the angle. This has to be forced in to get it there. And that's what can happen. You don't have enough impetus there with that shallow angle, and you end up locked. Again, another poor shot to get to the break ball. That cue ball needed checking up so it can moor down the line of the middle diamond to leave you that wider angle to cut it and give you a better angle and better pace to get into the pack, and that's why that's failed. Anyway, just to bring Larry into the conversation, Larry's highest run in this tournament is 40, which it doesn't make the grade, Larry. You're going to have to step up. You're going to have to show what you're made of, especially against Snake Eyes. You're going to have to keep it tight, and you're going to have to reel in that exuberance to pot balls, because that match is lined up for a couple of days' time for anybody that's interested. However, for those of you who still might be celebrating New Year, it's going to be on Saturday morning at 8 AM, and I'll be there for that. Is that Risks that's doing all these announcements? Because I can't see the name. Presume it is. Well, 15 ball if it goes, that's going to break the 4 in the cluster. And so now there's a chance. See, this is where you should be taking that wee sort of risk and potting the 2 and just trying to bring the cue ball down behind the 13 and the 8 to get rid of that 1, because there's a big gap to get on that 1 from that side. And if you just do a soft draw off the 2 and you get on the 1, fine, it all works out. If you don't get on the 1, you're going to have a bailout ball. You see, he's leaving the 1 sit there. My internal alarm clock or alarm bell is telling me the 1 has to get dealt with where it's sitting. It's blocking 1 ball. Okay, the 7 goes. Now he's got an ideal opportunity to try and get out onto the 1 and deal with it. If he runs into the balls there like that, he's improved them, but he's still got that problem. And it is not set as a combo. It's going to have to be made if it comes to it, or he's going to have to try and disturb it some other way. But he's had the chance to get there. I'll do there's another quote of the week. I'll do a 300 when I make final. In your wildest dream, Stub. I'll make a deal with you, right? You get to the final and you do a 300 run and I'm moving out to Shooter's Pool. There you go. Well, I thought Cobra's highest run was 184. That was it not semi-pro that mentioned it in a match against somebody in practice? Because that would show up in your stats. Doesn't have to be a tournament to affect your longest run. If it was in a match room and he's made 180 odd, that would show in his stats. I'm sure. I'm forgetting properly who told me or who mentioned it. Another bad miss by Potman, and it's the same old story, folks. 10 on the board just stretches the lead. It's now, what is it? Is it somebody do arithmetic? Because I'm looking at that and my brain can't work that out. What's 42 away from 114? So let's call it 40. It's 70 odd, isn't it? It's 71, isn't it? Something like that. Well, as I say, Stubb can get rid of me as long as he lives up to his promise. If he gets to the final and gets 300, I'm out of here. And Silvia once again with a break shot, but not an ideal shot. So she's got the thin cut in the 10. And, well, if somehow this ball comes back down the table towards us, so she's playing it with inside and got it all wrong. She's rushing 100 mile an hour, not really interested, and the end result is inevitable. Not applying herself to this, and I think she's just playing for fun, to be honest with you. Or has she already conceded that she can't get back into this match? Because that's the worst possible thoughts to be having. I'll tell you, if I was sitting 45, 114 behind, I would still be playing it the same way, no different. I'd be keeping it tight, and I'd be making sure as best I can that Potman isn't going to be scoring much. And he's overhit that because he played for the 2 into the middle to get into the bunch. And there's nothing on from that side. So a little bit of inside and get into the back of the bunch, and that will do. And I hope for Silvia's sake she's not listening to this stream, and I hope she doesn't watch it, because it is a hard watch. Oh, are we now changing the rule, Stubb? What does that say there? Once I get to the final and run a 200 plus. Alright, so now your confidence in the 300 and out is gone down the Swanee River. We're now bringing it down to just a 200. I've never rage quit at any game. Never. I've never quit and run in any match I've ever played in all my 20 odd years in virtual pool. Never. And I can say that with utmost confidence. I have stuck with it until the bitter end. It is not in my nature to quit. Ah, right, 182 in practice. Well, you know what I say about practice. It means jack. That's what practice means as far as what you score. It's doing it. It's doing it when it matters. And Potman's falling asleep, thinking about his shot, and has he used up all his extensions? If so, he's down to a 60-second. What do you call it? 60-second shot clock. Now that shot there from Silvia needed a bit of inside right, so that it punched off the left rail and get further up into that top right hand corner. That's what that needed, because the cue ball is 4 feet away from where it should have been. And I think Potman might be able to. Can you see the 4? No, you can't. There's nothing on there. There's no combo with the 12, the 5 and the 7, because the 12 is blocked off by the 10. It's running into the 10. Potman's went for the thin edge. He loses a point, but he's got the cue ball almost where it should be. And Silvia's shot should be thin off the 9, as thin as you can. Danger with that shot is it has to be really thin, because you can't play that ball to punch another ball out. So she just went in the short side from the top end and left a free go for Potman, although he's not going to get much out of it. We know the 4 doesn't go. He's now looking. Well, he never. Well, the 7 wouldn't go because it's blocked by the 15. So that possible combo was never on anyway. Although the 10 ball had been nudged out the way. Now again, Silvia has a shot here with right hand English off the edge of the 6 to get into the long grass, and she's not done it. And we saw, how many times did I say in that final with Frankel and semi-pro, for the two of them to try and get long, try and get length in the cue ball, and for a while they both end up tippy tapping backward and forward at the back end here. Got to get length on the cue ball, because it will produce the mistake eventually. Well, of course, that 11 ball at the back of the pack there in the open is now not the place to be, and that's a weak one from Potman. Silvia has to go 100% for this 11 ball and get the hit in the pack. What's she got? Not a lot, I'm afraid. There is nothing easy here at all. Well, the 10 ball I think is her best bet, believe it or not. 4 ball as well, either of them. I mean, I still prefer the 10 ball probably out of the two of them, but she's calling the bank. Well, we'll know if this is good in, as soon as it hits the rail, it's not going to go. And of course now the cue ball is exposed. 10 ball to start Potman off again and get his 8, 9, 10, 11 points. And I think it's now beyond, it's well beyond Silvia to get back into this. There's been no signs of any promise that she'd be able to construct something. Well, I'm sure, in fact I'm positive that the next match that I'm going to stream on Saturday morning at 8 AM between Larry and Snake Eyes should be a far better standard than what we've seen here. It has to be, because I simply don't think there can be anything getting any worse. Let me have a quick look at the bracket again, just to see, to remind myself of is that thing searching? Right, there we go. To remind me of what happens after this match. Let's have a look. Where the hell is it again? Why can't I see it? There it is. Right, so the winner of this match is going to go through to play Dirty Harry. So I don't think well, it looks like Potman's going to go through. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen Dirty Harry play, so I don't know what level he plays at. Who did he play? How did he get there? Where's Dirty Harry in this side? He got a bye in the first match, and he beat Dirties, and then Hazard beat him to put him to the one-loss side. So it's going to be a pretty even match, I would imagine, between more than likely Potman and Dirty Harry. So it's 25 points to get home for Potman. You're not looking at any possible combos there. There's nothing on. They're all blocking one another. It's easy just to cut the 9 and hide back in behind the pack. It's all about the weight of shot in this, but that's the safety. Yeah, again, another poor one. Very poor. It just opens the 3. And the 9 ball was the shot. Just cut it up the table, get your weight of shot right. Any player who was confident in their weight of shot would have cut that 9 and dropped the cue ball onto this bottom cushion behind the pack with nothing on. And it's just another free visit for Potman. Now, you take the 15, you leave the 11 there, you take the 15 because it's got the angle, and you drop through just short on the 2. and there's a break ball to open that bunch straight away, or the 6. The 2 would be better though, but you've got the shot immediately there to do it. And now he's got too much angle. I think he's going to try and stun off the 15 when he could have played it off the 2. You see, there's the problem. He's gone too far, and he had the shot to be able to nudge all of the balls open. Let's have a look and see what there is there. Nothing's on there. So again, it's the same old story. He's running out of balls. He's running out of options. So now his last chance is this one, the 7, and that should improve the situation big time, and it does. He gets the bonus of the 9 ball, and now he's 19 away, and I think we'll all give a sigh of relief when this match is over, but for all the wrong reasons. So the inevitable is going to happen, and Potman will go through to play to Dirty Harry. As I say, I've never seen him play, but it's very easy to make a judgment on a player once you've seen 2 or 3 shots. But I would think it would still be a fairly even match. It might even take exactly the same pattern as this, because surely Dirty Harry doesn't play as bad as Silvia has in this match. Well, there's a new name. I've never seen that one before on Twitch. Dota Niederad. Good afternoon and Happy New Year to you, if it is New Year where you are, because we are an hour and 50 minutes into this match. It's just coming up to 5 PM in 10 minutes time, and we'll have another 7 hours here in the UK before we reach 2021, but I'm afraid it's going to be no different from the way 2020's gone. And he's going to end up fairly straight again, is he? He's got a slight angle to just stun it firm, get the amp on and hit that corner ball. When he's drawn it down the table, he's got a shot, 8 ball or the 5. Again, with the 5 ball I'd be taking it, because you're going to run into those balls, you're going to at least catch something. That's a shot just to open them up immediately. That's the one you've got to take, because you're only 11 away from victory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're going to need one of those balls, so you take the 5. Why is he looking at the 8 or whatever other ball he's looking at? He should be taking the 5 and running into them. For goodness sake, why can't he see that shot? You need one of these, you need some of these balls to get the match over. You pot the bloody 5 and you run into them. Where's that not obvious? Or is he going to play a combo? I mean, with a lead of 139 to 46, I think it'd have been well worth taking the risk, at least. One, two, three, four, five, six. He still needs a ball out of that pack. Well, that's brought the ball out, and he's got the 8 ball. He's got nothing else. this end at the moment. It's going to have to be the 8. I mean, he could take the 12. It goes. And he'll land on the 9. Again, he's went for a he's went to improve a situation he didn't need to. What a stupid shot that was. I mean, my God. This is going from bad to worse. Well, do not watch this, Potman, whatever you do. And Silvia, of course, that's a given. Do not watch this. And don't watch that either, because it's hitting the pits here, this. I'm now thinking on any positives to come out of this match, and I'll tell you something. I'm really struggling, I'm afraid. But they're all there, and it should be over now from this visit. So just 6 away, they're all there. Just pick whatever you want. Absolutely no excuse not to get it done this time, and I'm attempting fate saying that. Four away. Please let it all end. Two more. Cut the 1, take the 7 or the 14, depending where the cue ball ends up. Thank God for that. I have a good mind to delete this off my channel so nobody can see it. But then again, it's always a good reason to keep it there, because if any of these two players get overconfident at any time, I can always show them that to remind them of how shit they can both play, because that was awful. It really was. I mean, and that's being generous, I'm afraid. But anyway, guys, we know the next match is the match between Snake Eyes and Larry. So a reminder that if you can't be there, or you can't get your backside out your bed, or you're back at work if you're unlucky on Saturday morning, we will have the match on YouTube. I'll be there for 8 o'clock Saturday morning for the Snake Eyes match. Snake Eyes from the UK, Larry from the USA. So I think basically Larry's getting up in the middle of the night to play this bloody match, so fair play to Larry for that. And I hope you can join us. So until we meet again, and let's just hope, for goodness sake, that we get something at least half decent. See, even something half decent is still 100 times better than what we've just seen this afternoon. So I feel almost like apologising. But take care, stay safe, and we will see you again soon, and I hope you can join us.